Hey, Real Nerds. There's many ways to enjoy the Real Nerds podcast. You can listen to us on Stitcher, iTunes, and now Spotify and iHeartRadio. You can see what we're up to around town by following us at Real Nerds on Instagram. And if you want to send us your thoughts, you can email us at realnerds@gmail.com or call us at 720-6nerds5. Like us on Facebook at Real Nerds Podcast or tweet us at Real Nerds. And now on with the show.
This is Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Fan Expo, which is having a special edition this Halloween season. Get your tickets soon at denverfanexpo.com. I'm not sure when they go on sale, but I'm guessing pretty soon. Should be fun.
Yeah.
Good, the cons are back. We are Real Nerds Podcast, and every week we see a new movie and we podcast our experience to the world for over 10 years now. I am Ryan. With me is the diabolical Norman Osborn.
I'm the Green Goblin.
Cast. And Zach.
Out, am I?
Man, it's so tough to choose between these two amazing actors for Spider-Man.
For Norman Osborn.
For Norman Osborn in the new
Peter.
Spider-Man movie.
Peter, don't tell Harry.
I like that one.
Hold on. Back to formula.
I'm feeling it.
Yep, you're feeling it. That's right.
Now, I want
hold
you
on.
each to scream, "Avenge me," and then that will seal the deal.
All right, Brad, you first.
I think someone will think there's something wrong if I start screaming down in this basement.
Okay, then I'll just do it. Avenge me!
I like that.
I think I got it in the bag here.
Is Goblin Jr. gonna cry? Maybe my most favorite Peter Parker line ever.
I saw your father killed by his own glider. Wait, that's not how it goes in Spider-Man 3. It's the butler, right? The one who's just like, your father died of his own hubris and shit.
Yeah, the best line in Spider-Man 3 is when Peter's eating that cookie and that girl next door, he's like, you got any with chocolate chips on them? Yeah, get me those. I love dorky, overconfident Peter Parker. I know that that moment in that movie is like the most hated, but I love that part in the movie.
I love the shot when he's in the club and he goes, now dig on this, and he starts snapping his fingers. I'm like, that's well shot. I don't know what it's doing in this movie, but it's well shot.
No, Sam Raimi can direct the hell out of anything.
Oh yeah.
What a lot of people miss in that moment is if you see the background people, they all look at him like he's a tool. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Nobody's really impressed by this.
No. Fucking Peter Parker. That's what happens when you get the Venom goo on you, man.
Mm-hmm.
You start becoming dangerous.
That, or you binge eat frozen meals in your fridge like Tom Hardy does. But, to each his own. It depends on which Venom you want.
Can I say none?
No, because pop culture in 2021 demands that you care about Venom for reasons, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, that's all right. Venom looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
This week we saw F9, the Fast Saga. Stay tuned to the end of the episode where we'll tell you if we recommend this film or not, play the trailer, and then talk about the film, which could include spoilers. We also talk about movies that are coming out this week on Blu-ray and 4K, movies we've been watching, and movie news. And generally, we're a movie podcast. We like movies.
Yes, we do.
We like movies. How about you?
Thank you.
I thought, just continue the freaking
rhyme.
Exactly. But
what else is there? What else is there to it? It's We Got Spirit. How about you? And then that's the end of it, right?
Yeah, but you can continue.
Okay, I wasn't prepared for this.
You're doing cheerleading now? What's going on?
Dude, what don't we do? We're so multi-talented.
Don't you know we've got to make the movie Cheer Squad of 2021?
And stay tuned. In 1 month will be our 500th episode.
Yikes.
Dun,
500 of these
things.
Jesus.
500 big ones. Actually, we have more than 500 episodes. It's just 500 numbered episodes.
That's true, because film explosions aren't counted, and the pop culture and Comic-Con interviews before it became Fan Expo are not episodes either. They're individual.
And our Mile High, Telluride Horror. We're so fucking popular.
Oh, yeah.
We beat people off to like get us to go to their cons.
Wait, you beat people off?
With like they're clamoring for us. God, you guys are so dirty.
No. I don't know. I think you need to look deep in your soul there, right?
Anywho, we also live in a state that has things you can do around town with the one and only Brad and his moped and the magical world of cinema.
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
I never understood why I gave you a moped. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Me neither. It doesn't make any sense.
I have no idea.
I drive
I think because I wanted to do the. I don't know if that's what mopeds sound like.
I think it was the sound effect, Ryan. You just really wanted to make a funny sound effect.
Let's just change it to a hoverboard. That's pretty
sweet.
Cool.
Yeah. Down.
Ryan is carrying on the tradition of Mel Blanc voicing vehicles of sorts.
Yes. The only thing Brad can't do on a hoverboard is he can't go over water. So, but I guess you can't drive through water either, so it doesn't really matter. Water is like you're like the Jason Voorhees of our podcast. Water is just bad news.
So you are afraid of something.
Jason Voorhees and hoverboards are the same thing.
Yes. I mean, Jason's only afraid of water in one movie. I mean,
wait, are we so old? Do you think people are listening to us right now and thinking that we're talking about like the rolling hoverboards? Because we're talking about Back to the Future.
Oh shit, that's right. Those things are actually a thing now.
Yeah.
I'm still distant enough to where I can be like, I understand what you could be saying, but I know what you actually are saying. So don't worry, you've got the approval of a 30-year-old.
Let me explain it to the youngins out there. I'm talking about the Mattel hot pink hoverboard.
Shut up, Grandpa.
Yeah, the pit bull.
Yeah.
Let me borrow your Jason Voorhees.
So yeah, I'm gonna take my hoverboard from 2015 and head over the drive-in when it stops raining because everything will be wet and I won't be able to use the hoverboard.
Yes.
So on a dry day, I'll get to see Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, Fast 9, and Quiet Place Part 2.
Love it. Also look out for the manure trucks, okay?
Yeah, I hate manure. And then if I head even further up north to the Holiday Twin, they are playing on screen 1, F9 and Nobody. And on screen 2 is Peter Rabbit 2 and Cruella.
Yeah. Family and you action junkies.
Oh, yeah. I like to see that Nobody is still playing places.
And then July 4th, they're having their second annual 4th of July drive-in with the Fort Collins Symphony and fireworks. So you can check that out too. I have tickets to Air Force One at the Alamo, so I will get to go.
So, yep, get off his hoverboard.
Yep, I'll park it at the bike rack at the Alamo, Sloan's Lake. And that's what's going on around town.
Sweet. Movie news happens throughout the week in a segment we call Movie News. No, we call it Real News. Fuck, we're so creative.
This is episode 495, man.
I know, I'm old. I'm going to be fucking 40 this year. I don't know what day it is. I'm trying to take Dick Van Dyke's, outlook on life where I'm always going to be like active and have fun and, be 95 and dancing in the middle of the street.
Your birthday is the Saturday of the 48-hour film project.
Cool. I will be working like I do all my birthdays. So, yep. That's what I do.
Yep, that's what happens in your old birthdays or just another day.
I think I might do. I don't know if they still have can you still play games at Enchanted Grounds and stuff?
Like tabletop games?
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't know if COVID changed because I have this Batman animated series game I really want to play, but it has to be with 3 people.
So why don't you just invite 3 of the real nerds to your house and play it?
Oh yeah, we can go up if everybody wants to drive up here. That's fine. I have that. I have Jaws. I have Universal Monsters.
You can come down to the office and play it on our huge common area. Invite everyone.
Sweet. Could we set that up, Brad, where we could have like a game night and stuff?
Sure, that'd be awesome.
Sweet. Maybe that Monday or something. Sunday, I think I'm celebrating Kellen's birthday because his birthday always falls on Labor Day, and it's a pain in the ass for people to come up here on Labor Day because the traffic starts at like Denver West.
Labor Day is the 6th, so that's a week later.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. His birthday is the 2nd.
Ah.
So, and he'll be in school, so I'll have to do it that Sunday, which is 28th or something. I don't know. But if you're down, if you have a place where we can play games, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's do it. I miss board games.
Sweet.
Not a lot of people like to play board games. Sad.
Do you think people really like this part of the podcast where I'm self-fulfilling what I want to do on my birthday? And they're like, wow, that's really cool. Thanks for all that information, guys.
I mean, it is real news. That is for sure.
That is true.
And we've it's been no secret that this is your show and people tune in to listen to your takes on everything. So
you know what? Thank you. Finally, someone gets it. It only took you 494 episodes.
I'm still trying to figure out who's the host of this show. It's James, isn't it?
No, it's definitely me because when I'm not on the show, it fucking drags.
Oh, fight. Wait, you'd be fighting me. No. I don't want to do that.
Hey,
anyway.
Zach, what's happening in the movie world?
It's real news. Well, I want to ask you guys, what's the deal with Jerry Seinfeld making a Pop-Tart movie? What's up with that? Yeah, there's a Pop-Tart.
You have some Pop-Tarts that have frosting, the other ones that don't. What's the deal with that?
Oh, no. Yes, Jerry Seinfeld, who has been working closely with Netflix with his stand-up specials, has decided will be writing, directing, and producing a movie called Unfrosted, which is a movie about the creation of Pop-Tarts. It's
so
inspired.
Let me ask you a question, though. Do you even eat unfrosted Pop-Tarts? That sounds like malarkey. Frosted Pop-Tarts are way better.
There are unfrosted Pop-Tarts, and they do.
I know. I'm just saying, would you eat an unfrosted one? I think I always eat them with frosting. Brad, back me up on this.
I got a pill stuck in my mouth.
You had a dick stuck in your mouth?
I think you said a pill.
Oh.
Brad, don't do drugs.
I took the second to wash down a pill I was taking, and it just got stuck on my tongue like 3 times.
Dang.
Oh, that's the worst taste too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just dissolves instantly. Yeah.
Pill
and
after.
I keep on telling my wife, so she thinks I'm pretentious. So she gets generic ibuprofen at her work, and it like sticks to your tongue. I keep on telling her I want her to get Advil. Now the difference is about $4, but Advil has the candy coating on it.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I mean?
I do.
It just slides down your throat. Like, it's so nice.
Like a cock.
Totally. I could even take like 3 of them at once and it doesn't bother me. We're still talking about Advil, right?
What were we talking about?
We were talking about the fact that Jerry Seinfeld's making a fucking movie. He's directing.
Do I eat unfrosted Pop-Tarts? Yeah, I will eat unfrosted Pop-Tarts. I don't care.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's about the gooey center, too. It's not just the frosting. It's also the gooey center. Like, those things are delicious.
I haven't had one.
The brown sugar one.
I haven't had one in a really long time. And it was like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and I had one. And I was wired for like 20 minutes because those things have so much fucking sugar in them.
It's
probably part of a healthy breakfast, I'm sure.
It's not advisable to eat, but I do appreciate having one every so often. If it's like around me, I'll be like, yeah, I'll have a Pop-Tart. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you not to eat them. It's just be prepared.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say something that's going to ruin our future sponsorships with Kellogg's, but I would take a toaster strudel instead.
Anyway,
nothing says loving like fun in the oven.
Toaster strudels are fucking dope.
They're not that great. No.
Whoa.
Not that good. No.
Flaky croissant crust. Are you insane?
I'm not insane. I'm truthful.
You can put your own frosting on them, and the frosting is like melts. Oh, You are insane.
It's
Zach Eastman.
it's a disproportionate amount of icing. Don't tell me that that's enough icing for it. If we're talking about the icing on Pop-Tarts, I mean,
no. So for the toaster strudels, they have the where you just tear it and it makes like a little
a squiggle,
like a little tube, and then you go across and make it look all fancy and artsy, like waves.
I don't want to have to pay to become a baker.
Frosting. Brad, back me up, because you have the flaky croissant. You have the wonderful taste of the fruit filling. Oh man, toaster strudels are where it's at.
The warm, flaky croissant.
Instead of reviewing,
thanks. Keep ruining my commercial. Go on.
Instead of reviewing F9, let's just review Pop-Tarts.
Real breakfast podcast.
Brad, you're selling me on toaster strudels?
I can't do it. The mood's gone.
Oh, fuck.
Getting my voice
back. It was
back.
all sexy and shit.
Anywho,
just unwrap. Just tear open a plastic frosting packet, squeeze it directly into your mouth, and then jam the warm, flaky crust of the Pillsbury toaster strudel down your gullet.
Why are you whispering?
Nothing says loving like my toaster strudel in your mouth.
All right. We got all out of our system.
Have I ever told you the sad story when I was young of what happened to my Pillsbury Doughboy?
No.
Does it involve your parents' divorce?
No, it doesn't. Actually, this is when they were together. I used to have this pair of race car pajamas, and I had a little, kind of like a rubber ducky Pillsbury Doughboy. And when you squeezed him, he went, and one day I was at school, and this is like my earliest memory. I'm not even joking. I'd have been like 5. And I came home, and my mom was at home, and she usually wasn't. She was working. And we had this little like furnace fire in our basement, and it melted my Pillsbury Doughboy and my race car pajamas. And I was freaking devastated.
Aw.
I know. And all I've ever wanted since was a Pillsbury rubber toy that went, but they probably don't make them anymore.
eBay, man. You can get it on eBay.
Yeah, luckily it's 2021. You can scour the internet for that stuff.
Wait, What's the internet?
Well, the internet is a place where people go to bitch about movies.
Anyways, what else is news besides toaster pastries?
Well, let's see. See Jerry Seinfeld's Pop-Tart movie that inspired this wonderful conversation. Little bit of insight into our movie of the week is that Fast and Furious has opened up with the highest box office gathering since the pandemic, with $70 million in its debut. So that's good news for people feeling a little bit more confident going back to the movies. This among things like Godzilla vs. Kong were definitely the things that people were wanting to go see in a movie theater. That and A Quiet Place Part 2 actually did pretty well. So box office numbers are rising. So hopefully that means that we're, back to some regular business at the movies. And on that note, Vin Diesel isn't satisfied with just Fast and Furious movies. He wants a Fast and Furious musical.
Sweet. I mean, I saw his debut single on Ellen, and it was fucking dope.
You know what? I don't know how that works, because it sounds like Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark all over again, where you try to do it in an extravagant stunt spectacular and people die in the process. I would say no, don't do that. Like, people's lives matter. And then David Fincher's got a new movie in the works called The Killer. He will be teaming up with Michael Fassbender as the star. And he will be reuniting with Andrew Kevin Walker, the writer of Seven, to do this film. The story concerns a man solitary and cold, methodical, and unencumbered by scruples or regrets. The killer waits in the shadows, watching for his next target. And yet the longer he waits, the more he thinks he's losing his mind, if not his cool. A brutal, bloody, and stylish noir story of professional assassins lost in a world without a moral compass. This is a case study of a man alone, armed to the teeth, and slowly losing his mind. So yeah,
and of course, how that was presented to Michael Fassbender is he saw Bryan Singer and he says, "I want to see a real director." And then Matthew Vaughn showed up and he says, I mean a real director. And then it was David Fincher, and then he said perfection.
You made a meme.
I explained a meme on a podcast.
Did you see that meme? I haven't seen that one yet.
No, I just made that up right now, Zach. I'm a genius.
Brad, make that meme. And the last piece of news that I have is pretty big. We got a full-length trailer for Halloween Kills. Let's talk about this thing. Ryan, this shit looks insane.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I only have one real big problem with it, is if this was the real world, the firefighters would not beat the police to the fire. The police would already be there, so Michael wouldn't have gotten out.
But Haddonfield's not a real town, so what are you expecting out of this?
If there's any firefighters listening, that's a really big firefighter joke between us first responders, and they'll think it's hilarious.
Are you going to start a fight between the firefighters and the police like Matt Damon does in The Departed?
No.
Okay, good.
Of course not. The firefighters are America's heroes, so I would never start a fight with them.
Yeah. The trailer is promising. It's funny because I don't know what to call this. It seems like it's going to go back down to the path of what Halloween became after the first one, where it became a slaughter fest, essentially. Like it was trying to ape off of the Jason movies at that point.
I mean, I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot more to it. It seems like because they obviously have a third part that is coming out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So there's a part where I'm guessing Michael's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
But but I mean, there has to be some sort of continuation of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he's gonna. I mean, I think this mob is going to end poorly for Miss Laurie Strode. So
yeah, the thing that, like, to me, like, all the reports prior to this trailer were promising, like, this thing is like epic, this thing is brutal, this thing is merciless, and the whole time I kept thinking, like, okay, well, you know, depending on what you're trying to do with it, because the Halloween reboot, you know, I love that movie unabashedly, but it does allow itself to be what Halloween became after the first one, where the kills are much more in your face, but they held back a little bit. This trailer indicates that they are going back to sequel mode, where like things are going to get brutal. Things are like it. I'm wondering what this looks like compared to that first reboot, which kind of by comparison seems a lot more restrained. But I'm down for it either way. I mean, it's another Halloween movie. I'm going to go.
When I watch it, and I know that there's another one coming, it actually kind of reminds me of Kill Bill, where the first one might be, you know, crazy gore and Michael going crazy, and then maybe the second one's a little more reflective
and subdued. Yeah, that'd be interesting if they pulled it off that way. I will tell you though that the mob mentality attracts me because they sort of do it in Halloween 4, but it's not the central focus, and it feels like they're going to actually focus on what happens when a group of people are no longer going to lie down with Michael attacking them and threatening their lives, and you form a mob this crazy, which apparently Tommy Doyle's essential in leading that mob from what I've read. So I'm curious to see how they play into mob mentality in the movie, because like the first one was about like confronting your attackers, and this one seems to be commenting on some other things, because it's not just a barren sequel. Like these Halloween reboots are designed specifically to intertwine a message, which I find fascinating. But I also like watching Annie Matichak go toe to toe with Michael, because in the first one, obviously she's new to this whole Michael Myers phenomenon. She is running away shit scared. In this second one, she kind of gets to adopt what Laurie became later on, which is more of a fighter of Michael. And we also see the return of her boyfriend, the ALM kid. And I mean, it's going to be intriguing. Like, to say the least, it looks furious. Like, it looks like a intense ride. But yeah, we will look forward to that this October. This is going to be a fucking blast, Ryan. We get an insane Halloween movie this year that we were supposed to get last year. But
Yep.
so yeah, and that's news unless I missed anything.
Blu-rays, Ultra HD, come out in physical form every week, and we'll highlight some of them here.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Let me tell you, you can enter a world of pure imagination in 4K with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory from 1971 coming to your 4K discs. You can also get Major Dundee from 1965, courtesy of Arrow Blu-ray. Ryan, I wanted to bring this to your attention because I think there's some cover trickery afoot. There's a movie called Pickup on South Street from 1953 from Criterion coming out, directed by Sam Fuller, but the cover art looks suspiciously similar to the cover art for The Awful Truth on Criterion Blu-ray, with the same sort of font and the same gold background. I'm curious what you'd think once you've seen it. So that's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Criterion kind of repeat a motif like that. And then let's see, you can get on Blu-ray a John Wayne movie with Kirk Douglas called In Harm's Way from 1965. AGFA is putting out The Leather Boys from 1964. Scream Factory is putting out a steelbook of Battle from Beyond the Stars from 1980. Do you have that one coming, Ryan?
No.
No? Okay. At least you're honest. We've got the complete, I believe this is the complete second season of His Dark Materials, the television show based on the Golden Compass. We are getting some cool Kino Lorber starring Mae West. She Done Him Wrong and I'm No Angel. You can get those right in your back pocket. You can also get My Little Chickadee, the movie she made with W.C. Fields. And you can also get Night After Night, which features George Raft. And
whoa, you just breezed past that Cary Grant is in two of those, you bastard.
Well, he's not mentioned on the poster, so guess who's
He
not
is,
mentioned? Oh, yeah, that's right. She Done Him Wrong. Yes, that's right.
And
She
I'm
Done
No
Him Wrong.
Angel. I'm pretty sure on them they say with Cary Grant.
Yes, they do, actually, in the corner. You're right. My bad, bud. I'll tell you what, how about I repay this by telling you that you can also get Belle of the 90s from 1934 featuring Mae West. And you can also get Going to Town from 1935. Oh, yeah, Mae West is going to town.
Yeah, I think they're releasing something like 8 of her films.
Yep, and Go West, Young Man, featuring Cary Grant's friend, Randolph Scott. So there's plenty of Mae West to go around in your life. Look, every day's a holiday. There you go. Klondike Annie. You're going to get all the Mae West movies, and it's going to blow your fucking mind. But yeah. And then we're getting a release from 1978 called Just a Gigolo from Shout Factory featuring David Bowie. Anybody here seen this movie?
Nope.
I'm curious. And Warner Archive is putting out Madame Curie featuring Greer Garson and Walter Pidgeon. So if you'd like to check out that film, you are more than welcome to. And looks like we're getting season 2 of the Purge television show from 2019 being released on
I forgot
Blu-ray.
was a TV show.
Yeah, I don't think anybody remembered that was a thing. Also, the Steven Soderbergh movie King of the Hill is getting a Blu-ray Criterion release. Also, Francis Ha. Have you ever seen? No, it's not the show. This is a movie by Steven Soderbergh called King of the Hill. I've never seen it, but it does always throw me off every time I see it on his filmography. And that's Blu-rays.
Some oldies but goodies.
Yeah.
We watch films throughout the week in a segment I call What We've Been Dying to Watch.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
You the Crypt Keeper this week? What the heck?
I'm whatever you want me to be. Brad, what'd you watch this week?
Not a lot. Still watching SNL, but Ryan wanted to see a movie called Werewolves Within and couldn't, so I went to see it.
Yeah, you motherfucker.
The Esquire. And yeah, if you're looking for a werewolf movie, you might be left wanting. It is more of a comedy. the beginning has. Sorry.
You see, I was so pissed that I fucking left.
What?
I accidentally swiped away from Zoom.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Oh, good. So, Werewolves Within, tell us about it.
Oh yeah, I was starting to. Yeah, if you're looking for a werewolf movie, you might be left wanting a bit. Because it is a comedy, it teases for most of the movie whether or not there is a werewolf in the movie or not. And the opening scenes, there's a couple sequences that are edited just like Edgar Wright doing montage, like not montages, but when like someone like set down an object and then it'll like fast zoom and then go to another thing and fast zoom, then do another thing and fast zoom. I was like, wow, that's like his same editing style. So they must be fans of that. And it centers around a forest ranger who moves to this small town to take over the job, and the town is a bunch of weirdos, and he befriends the postal carrier initially. He temporarily takes up residence in the local hotel, and there's a oil developer who's trying to convince the town to sell all their properties so he can get the stand-in for the Standing Rock pipeline built through the area. And then suddenly people start disappearing and getting mauled, and the forest ranger has to track it all down. They eventually convinces everyone to huddle into the hotel, and in a very much The Thing kind of way, they try to figure out who amongst them is the werewolf, or if there's a werewolf at all, kind of stuff. So yeah, it has vibes of The Thing, and it's also like a very small budget. So there's a part where like they find a body, and a lot of what happens is like happens off screen and people just react to it. Damn, the power just went out here.
Oh no! Dang it, Brad. R.I.P. Brad. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna do something here to fix this.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
If not, I guess we'll never capture the magic of our first half of our show ever again.
Which was a glorious first half. But anyway, so Ryan, what have you been watching this week?
I haven't really been watching too much. I've been rewatching. I got Parks and Rec on Blu-ray, which I
nice.
totally forgot that I got on Blu-ray. And then one day I had a $70 charge on my bank account. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I came home and Parks and Recreation, the complete series, was there. So there's that. It's really fun. It's a really funny show. A lot of people don't like the first season. I don't mind it. It takes a few episodes to get going, and once it does, it's really great.
Yeah, I never finished it, but I liked what I saw. Like as it kept going into seasons 2 and 3 and such. So
yeah, it's funny, and I love Ben Schwartz in it as Jean Ralphio.
Oh yeah, I got run over by a Lexus.
Yes, it's great stuff.
You've seen the video where they put John Ralphio's voice and his quips over Spider-Man footage, right?
Yep, it's awesome. There's this smash cut of all of his singing, and it's magnificent. I also watched the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon. It's really fun.
Was that the one that MTV did, or MTV did?
No, this was I want to say I don't even know where it debuted, because it only lasted 2 seasons, and then maybe Disney XD, and they kept on shuffling it because that was the time that Marvel and Sony, Sony couldn't produce Spider-Man cartoons anymore,
right?
And so, but it was made by Greg Weisman, who did Gargoyles, and it's just a really fun show. I've always really enjoyed it, and it's easy to slip into because most of the episodes are self-contained. I mean, they have an overarching theme.
Right.
The first season's really dealing with the mob, so Tombstone and Hammerhead. And then they have some twists along the way with the Green Goblin that I really like. Yeah, it's a really fun show, and they have awesome people that are performing in it. The Vulture is voiced by Robert Englund.
Oh,
So they have a lot of.
that's got to be fun.
Oh yeah, no, he's great in it. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool voice actors in it as well, and the theme song's really catchy. So yeah, it's a fun little cartoon, and I wish it lasted more than 2 seasons. But there's maybe 28 episodes, something like that, and it's really fun. And the only I just watched 2 other things. I rewatched World War Z because for the last 3 weeks it's been playing at the drive-in, and Brad keeps on mentioning it. So I said, man, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. So I sat down and watched it. It's still a pretty fun movie. I'm always not the biggest fan of super zombies where they run and jump. But I like the idea of the zombies just forming an ant colony to get over a wall.
Yeah, that was one shot in the trailer. I don't think I've ever seen this movie still to this day, but that shot in the trailer I remember vividly, and I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it's really cool how they solve it. If you've read the book's really great by Max Brooks.
Son of a great comedic director. Yeah.
Yeah, and in it, Brad Pitt plays this guy named Jerry, who's part of the UN, and he keeps going to different places because of the zombie plague, and he's trying to figure out where it started and if there's a way to defeat it. And it's kind of a clever way how they decide they're going to be able to not necessarily stop the plague, but kind of figure out how to fight another day, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Right.
So it's a pretty cool movie. Yeah. Right. So, and the last thing I watched, I kind of wish Brad was on here. I kind of wish Brad was on here, but that's okay. I watched Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1. I was gonna wait. They're doing the second part. I think comes out in August, and then later in the year, I'm guessing around Halloween, they're gonna have an Ultra HD version of it. But the DC animated stuff, I have a Suicide Squad one, or maybe it's Batman and Harley Quinn. One of them I have in Ultra HD, and it looks almost exactly the same. So, yeah. So I'm hoping. So I guess. Sorry, I was reading Brad's text.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's worth it to get the Ultra HD because they're going to put it in one collector set. So I was in Longmont yesterday after I was playing golf, and I saw that it was one of the last stores in Colorado that had the Steel Book. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go get it. And it's pretty great. The voice acting in it is incredible. If you've never read The Long Halloween, it's a really great Batman story. It takes place, I think, in his second or third year as Batman. I can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, so it's him still trying to figure out being a detective. And the premise is there's killings happening around holidays.
Yeah.
So it starts on Halloween, and it's interesting. It's the series is 13 issues, and the film is divided into 2 parts, but it only really touches the first 4 issues. So the second part's going to have a lot in it. And
how long's part 1?
It's an hour and 35 minutes.
Let's see how the back half goes, because past those issues, you get into some insane shit. So hopefully they capture most of it.
I love Poison Ivy, so I can't wait till she shows up. Is it spoilers to say she shows up after the credits? I don't know.
I don't remember this book that well, but I did read it. I know she's in it, so I don't think.
Yeah, I think she shows up in issue 6. I'll have to flip through my Poison Ivy collection to see. It's either 6, 5, or 6, so she pops up pretty quickly. So yeah, it's kind of violent. The animation style in it is changed a little bit from other DC animated stuff, so it looks really cool. The soundtrack or the score is really great in it. And it's pretty violent for PG-13. I do know part 2 is going to be rated R.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it kind of has to be because it's a serial killer.
Right.
So I'm interested to see how they play the mystery, because I know with Batman Hush, they really, really changed the story towards the end.
Right.
So I don't know I'm guessing they might not change it too much because it's so well revered. But we'll see. It's really cool. I really enjoyed it. And that's what I watched this week.
Yeah.
Zach?
Yeah, it's my turn. Sorry, it's so weird because I guess I shouldn't have taken the ball and thrown it to you.
It's okay.
What have I watched this week? Well, I was gone last week because I was making a short film and that took precedent. But I did see the Sparks Brothers documentary, and I liked it a lot. I really, really liked it. I need to go back again because.
Yeah, I was telling Brad yesterday, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to our episode.
Not yet, no.
Last week, that it feels like you are finally let in on an inside joke. You know what I mean? That you don't know where, you don't know why you don't know who these guys are, but you are really glad that you finally get who these guys are.
Yeah, because the trailers and even all of Edgar Wright's promotion around it was kind of enigmatic, where it just kind of felt like it is this big, well-kept secret that, like the documentary, I know you guys already talked about it, so I don't need to set it up for people, but like I sat down and I was kind of just swept away I was really happy that I didn't watch a trailer for this movie prior to going into it. I did definitely go in clean, and to watch where the only things I knew ahead of time were like, Edgar Wright's making this movie, here's some promotional pictures of what they look like. And to understand where their music lies in terms of history and how they always seem to run side by side with things that were of a trend that was about to rise, but they never quite make it. And when they finally do break a certain ground, it's under this new auspice of the way indie music can thrive now today. And I will tell you that, like, when I saw the runtime listed, I was like, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like, what kind of movie are we doing here? I don't know if you guys talked about this, but the movie kind of felt like a Sparks Brothers album based on what they're describing Sparks Brothers as a concept to be, because it almost felt like it made fun of documentaries in the process. Yeah,
it was interesting. Me and Brad talked. We talked about how it didn't seem like it was 2.5 hours long. It went by really fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was really entertaining.
My take on it, like, ultimately, Ryan, was that, like, they are a group that I'd like to explore more. But what I think the movie does very well is it opens you up not just to the world of the Sparks Brothers, but it also introduces you to the aspects of, like, what music history to be has infinite more layers than you could possibly have imagined from a cursory glance. Like, I'd have to imagine if you're a music head, like that's your, like, the way you're into comic books or I'm into old time radio, like, you would have heard of these guys, but I wouldn't have. So I liked that I get to kind of peek at how their story pertains to the overall arc of music history in general, and how these guys were, like, supposedly a British band, but they were never a British band. They were an American band who thrived in Britain, and, like, the different angles to it. Like, now, the one thing that I was almost taken aback by was Edgar himself appearing in the doc, but thankfully he doesn't put himself in there too much. And I like that because he is a fan, he is included in that. And it's not just, the director turning the camera on himself, because, like, I know that's there's tricky area with that. Like, Strong Island, that's the concept of the movie and it totally works for what she's doing. But other times I do feel it can, teeter. In this one, I'm glad he's there, because ultimately Edgar's providing context as to how somebody like him would make a documentary like this, because otherwise it would just not fit if he didn't kind of basically give his own explanation as to why these guys are unique. And also like it did feel like you were getting like, but as you said, you're led into a joke and like or an inside joke. And what I love about these guys is that they're comedic musicians essentially. Like they poke fun at the thing they are also inspired to make. Like they have a duality about them. I really appreciate that. It's one of the best movies I've seen this year, hands down. And I do think if you're going to see this movie, you should see it in a movie theater. Like it is a good theatrical experience. You get an entire experience in 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I don't know, like the only thing that would have been better is if it was a little longer and they kind of like intertwined it a little bit more with more concert footage. But I don't know how much more that would have done to sell you on the concept. You've already got plenty of ways to sell this concept to people. So yeah, if you haven't seen the Sparks Brothers yet, you need to check out this movie. It is utterly fantastic. And let's see, I kind of got burnt out after after filming. So I popped on Futurama and just dug through a lot of seasons 2 and 3 or volumes 2 and 3. The production order on Futurama is fucking stupid because Fox was an idiot with that show and didn't know how to handle it or didn't care because they only cared about Family Guy at that time, which is whatever. But going back through it, I'm surprised at how well the animation holds up because it's early.
That show is so brilliant. And, you know, I've been burnt out from work too. I think that's why I've been watching so much Parks and Rec you know, sometimes movies just require so much attention that, you know, I can't do it. And I got to get back. I bought the sweet set with my Christmas money this year. And Futurama, I've said this before, I still think it's one of the best shows ever, and at times I think it's better than The Simpsons. I mean, people call me crazy, but I think it is.
I wouldn't call you crazy. Like, I tweeted about this. I was like, you know, I will never not love The Simpsons, but the Futurama hits me at a different emotional core than Simpsons does. The Simpsons hits my funny bone in a good way when it comes to satirizing American family values that as they stood during the nuclear family era that doesn't really exist anymore. But Futurama is this isn't denigrating to The Simpsons, but Futurama is an actual story. Like, it's an actual story unfolding. It's not really episodic. Anytime they do an isolated episode, it still manages to find a way to hook itself into something that happens later on. They were clearly careful with how they set up everything from episode 1. Like, this show was pre-planned almost to a T, and every time they've had to end it's never felt like it was an unearned ending. Like, there's 3 different endings to this show. There's the one with the devil's hands or idle playthings, and then there's Into the Wild Green Yonder, and then there's the absolute final one where they are thrust forward in time and go in a loop and go back again. The watching the characters develop is interesting because I always forget that Zoidberg doesn't start off as a poor sack of crap. He's actually decently respectable in the first couple of episodes, and then slowly but surely they start turning him into the poor penniless doctor that we know and love. Getting more into having more fun with side characters in it is interesting, and some lines that didn't work for me when I was younger worked better for me when I was older. I'm trying to remember the one I watched last night, but it has the 2 policemen, the robot police officer and the human police officer. It's the Penguin episode, and they do the thing about I can't tell if they're black with white stripes or white with black stripes. It don't matter, baby. They're all beautiful. And then they hug each other, and Bender uses that to sneak off. And the robot cop goes, "Oh, damn, he got away." And the human cop goes, "I guess this is why Chief says no hugging." It's just so funny. And then there's also I didn't notice this when I was younger, but in that same episode, Bender has all the penguins fighting a big battle against the nature preservation lovers who are trying to hunt the penguins down to cull down their population numbers. And Bender's in a tuxedo posing as a penguin. And when he's doing his penguin language, it's literally the dialogue of "We shall fight them on the beaches, we shall fight them on the land," and he kind of puts his hands in his tux like he's Winston Churchill. Like, just watching these little gags spring up is just so wonderful. And I still maintain that Luck of the Fryish is one of the best episodes of television that I've ever seen, because it's just so heartwarming. But yeah, so I just watched like a ton of Futurama, and then I saw at Film Club for the first time ever was a movie called Hue and Cry, which is from Ealing Studios. And Ealing Studios is a studio that I'm not very versed on at all. The only thing I had seen of theirs prior to joining this film club was The Lady Killers, because it's Alec Guinness and it's also the basis for a good remake that the Coen brothers did, which, yes, it's good because you need to kind of peel back what is being attempted there. But Hue and Cry is hello, Brad, you're back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm recording the
What a pain in the ass.
Yeah, well, I mean, why don't you just use your own link again?
I don't. It comes from James's account. I don't have access to his email.
Okay, gotcha. No worries. But yeah, no, Hue and Cry, Ryan, I think you might like the movie. It's actually, I was shocked how a modern day adaptation of this could work. It's about this group of kids who read a comic story every week, out of a magazine called The Trump, which is it's not referring to that kind of Trump, obviously. But the stories in the comic book are being used by criminals as indicators for where they're going to strike in their next crime. And it's up to the kids to kind of solve and fight these criminals. And I was kind of shocked to see a comic book playing an integral part in a movie in the 1950s, like in terms of it being like utilized as like a story point. Mm-hmm. And the ending of the movie, I won't spoil it, but I will tell you that it is one of the most insane things I have ever seen come out of a British movie. It is quite bananas what happens in it. So if you haven't seen Hue and Cry, it features Alistair Sims, who is best known for playing Scrooge in the 1950s Christmas Carol adaptation and being seen in Stage Fright. He's really good in it, but he's not in it that much. Yeah, it's just a fun blast of a time. It made me want to go back to other Ealing movies and see what I've been missing for this time. But yeah, that's all I watched this week.
Hey, Brad, before you got kicked off because of a lightning bolt struck your house and did not give you magical powers, you were telling us that Werewolves Within was a small budget because you'd see a body and then you went...
Yeah, that was supposed to be cut away from. So everyone kind of talks about what's happening off screen, or the carnage is like just below the frame. So yeah, it's funny sometimes, but I think when people see like the title Werewolves Within, they'll be expecting something else. So, but it's still a fun, cute movie, but it's not like a classic for me. And that was all I watched this week. So.
Wow. Yeah. Zach and I already talked about what we watched as well. So
this is a weird version of the show.
Yes, very weird.
I'm recording this out of my car right now.
Okay. I've been recording since yours shut down on the PodTrack and on Zoom. So
yeah, I hope so, because
yep.
I have a battery backup on my computer for this kind of situation, but the power didn't come back on right away, so I had to shut everything down, and I'm just in the dark here doing this podcast.
Alone in the dark.
This week on Real Nerds Podcast, we continued the saga about family and what it means. Brad, do you recommend F9, the Fast Saga?
I mean, if you like my taste in movies, sure, maybe. I have so many questions about this movie. Did I enjoy it? Sort of. Is it a great movie? No. Yeah. I'll talk more about it after the trailer.
Zach?
If you're looking for story and character development and things that actually matter, you're probably better off just staring at the F9 button on your computer for 2.5 hours. But if I'm not being snarky, it's really hard to review a Fast and Furious movie because they do exactly what they're going to do and they don't apologize for it. So over the course of time, these films have literally just become like, it's almost like they're unreviewable because it's just like, well, you know what you're getting into. So if you paid to see this movie again and you were disappointed by it, like what were you expecting after 8 previous installments and a spinoff? As far as the experience of it, like it was fun and they did fulfill a promise that the trailer gave, and I found it to be the best part of the movie. But the convoluted soap opera tale that is unfolding over the course of these movies is indecipherable for me as an audience member, and I don't know how to recommend it on a story level. I can recommend it as like if you want to go back to the movie theater and get reacquainted with the movie theater, this is a good big screen ride for you to go to. So like I wouldn't say don't go see it. I would just say like it's, you know what you're getting into if you watch these movies. So yeah.
Actually, I'll push back to you a little bit on your take, Zach, because this movie's fucking garbage. And I even think if you know what you expect from Fast and Furious movies, this one is so not good that it doesn't matter. It's
I'm being kind, by the way. I do want to make it clear because like there were moments in this movie where I was able to take a nap because I'm like, oh, I know what's about to happen now.
No, I don't recommend this film, even if you've seen the other Fast and Furious movies. And I got to post this on Twitter. I keep on forgetting to, but this is the 10th Fast and Furious movie, including Hobbs and Shaw. And you know what other franchise went to space in their 10th film?
Jason X.
Jason X.
This is
when you're all out of ideas, you go to space.
Jason X is a better go to space movie than this.
I think Jason X is a better film. And I'll play the trailer and then I'll really get into it because, yeah, this movie is not good. Here's a trailer for F9.
The world has a way of changing. And we change too.
I know some people, they would die for me.
There are moments that separate us.
They're my family.
But we always come back together.
We heard y'all needed a little love out here.
Y'all ever thought about the wild missions we've been on? We've taken out planes, trains, tanks. I'm not going to even think about the submarine. And now we got cars flying in the air? Who is he?
Jacob is Dom's brother.
Been a long time, Dom. Little brother.
You always say never turn your back on family, but you turned your back on me. Now your little family is in my world.
Are you ready?
Whatever's on you,
Is you ready?
it's on us.
Are you ready?
He's got his own private army. We need help.
Bring what you got.
Bring what you got. Bring what you got.
No way.
Is you ready? Whole squad ready.
So how do y'all want to play this?
Fast.
We going. We going. Whole squad ready.
Okay, this is a bad time to mention this, but I don't drive.
Brother against brother. This should be interesting. But could you kill him?
Get the e-brake for me, would you, darling?
Crank it all the way up.
Get back. We the soldiers. Get back.
Man, we messing with magnets now?
Woke to wake up.
Whoa.
Get back.
Came front.
Yeah, everything we gave up. Even when we die, we raise up. Yeah.
It's good to be back.
We got no white flag and no treaty. We got the product, we got the tools.
We supposed to stop that?
Hold on! We going wild, we on the loose. People is blind, we are the truth.
Yes!
I spent my entire life in your shadow. And now, you spend the rest of yours living in mine.
We going wild. We on the loose.
Not today.
We are the truth.
Really? Duct tape? You acting like we on our way to Home Depot.
Hunter! No, Ted! Ah! I don't want to die!
So
this is the part where you do a plot summary, but I'm going to ask you, how the hell are you going to do it?
I was going to try. Fast and Furious 9, Dom's long-lost brother, who's never been mentioned before, shows up. And but guys, he wasn't mentioned because he purposely sabotaged his dad's racing car that caused his dad to crash and die in a fireball. And then Toretto, Dom, killed the guy that did he kill the guy? I don't know. I mean, I guess this is implied because he hit him continuously over the head with a wrench.
They took one nugget from his past that was explained in expositional dialogue in the early parts of the series and elaborated on it for a good chunk of a 2.5-hour movie.
He didn't get a life sentence, so I'm assuming it was just battery.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically you can kill someone and get out. There's a lady who lives in our town that ran her husband over with a car and she's not in prison anymore.
But he's also like 50 years old. So, even if he did like 25 years, it does make sense.
Well, I mean, I guess
a
he
short
did
sentence,
10
whatever it was.
because the beginning took place in 89 and then the first Fast and Furious was 2001.
2001. Yeah.
So I mean, maybe he's in for 6-7 years. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's just assault with a deadly weapon or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so his dad dies, and then fucking Jacob John Cena is his super spy brother. It's so fucking stupid.
Who Mr. Nobody recruited initially before he went to the Torettos in part 6, I think? ?
Yeah.
What? Ryan, this used to be about people stealing DVD players off the back of fucking trucks.
I know. And you can even forgive it. My biggest problem always with these movies is they're really far-fetched, but for some reason, when The Rock is involved, you believe it more. In this one, you don't have the charisma of The Rock. You're dealt with Vin Diesel, who I don't think can carry a movie at all. Mm-hmm. And if they could have more Michael Bay hero shots where it starts really low and then zooms up to them. Oh my God. I like Justin Lin. I go, man, is he just, there's an art to, go ahead. Sorry, Brad.
I was going to say, I definitely got the vibe that it felt like Vin Diesel was taking ownership of the franchise back in this movie. Because the part where he single-handedly rips all the scaffolding down in that tube and collapses it and falls in the water and then goes into a fever dream of his past and everything.
He goes into an art film for 30 to 45 seconds
and gets super dramatic, actory. I was just wow, he's just trying to he heard all the criticisms of Rock's the better actor and performer and the franchise has gotten better with him in it, and now he's trying to up himself, trying to get up, and it just comes off so goofy.
Yeah, it doesn't work because even that part where he jumps down, he does this Superman flex as he's jumping. I go, what the fuck is this? And so I don't get how he falls in the water and is sinking down, and he can't get out. And the only way he can get out is because Michelle Rodriguez jumps in and grabs him. It's dude, you can swim, right? What the fuck is going on?
No, I didn't learn how to.
And this is how stupid this movie is. So I took Kellen, and Kellen and I were the only ones in the theater. And
wow,
yeah, he's watching it, and he's saying, "Oh, I like when the cars run into each other." But then it gets to the part where Charlize Theron is in that plastic jail cell, And this is true. Kellen goes, Daddy, how does she go to the bathroom and how does she eat?
I had that thought too.
Oh, we got a future real nerd on our hands here. Taking place. Ryan, if you become paralytic for whatever reason, Kellen can take your job.
Let's go back to the very beginning of the movie where Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez get approached to, do the next mission. And she agrees and takes off. And then Vin Diesel stays behind because he's like, I got to take care of our son. And then, he has a couple moments of thinking about it and realizes that he should take care of this problem, and then just leaves his kid there. Like, who's watching their kid now?
He left him with Brian. For those who don't know, Brian is Paul Walker, and he's been dead for 7 years.
Oh, can we talk about how they keep doing this? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I jump ahead to the end for a second. They have their traditional family dinner or whatever, and they're waiting for Brian. And I'm like, you've still got 2 more of these films to do according to your trilogy plan. So what are we doing here? Please speak up, because it just seems like they're dragging this concept of Brian still being around it just feels weird.
So he's still alive in the story?
Yeah.
And so the blue Subaru at the end was him?
Yeah, because in 7, they edited it in such a way where he just drives off and drives away in one direction, and Vin Diesel drives in another direction, and they play that song, I'll Tell You All About It When I See You Again, or whatever it is. And I don't understand this, but and also this movie is clearly designed to address fan criticisms because we get Han back, which is interesting, I guess. I have no idea if it really matters, ultimately.
That stuff's fine, but here's my biggest gripe too, is everything is CG, which, whatever. I mean, Marvel movies are CG too, but they have CG of Vin Diesel running on roofs. You know what I mean? Like, why is it a CGI guy? It makes me long for Tom Cruise, because even their over-the-top car chases, it's so much CGI. And then the rules of their magnets make no sense at all. And
they inadvertently kill so many people.
They give loose explanations for the science at work, and Ludacris Bridges is there to explain why the science works. That's why they're able to go to space, which frankly is, I would argue, the only reason to watch this movie on a practical level that, doesn't involve story is to get to that moment, because I do like what happens up there and how what they decide to do. But
it's not earned. And how fast can they do this? All of a sudden they can, in less than a day, they can get another Fiero and launch it into space and do all that stuff. It's ridiculous.
But this movie is designed to not give a shit about movie logic, and it's it's not impenetrable, but it is flagrantly flying in the face of people who question the logic in films. So there are parts of me that appreciate that, but it doesn't. I looked at this film and was realizing for the budget that they put into this film, we would have 10 or 20 cool mid-budget movies that tell a more interesting story than what's being told here.
Or better car chases than Jack Reacher. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
There's the stakes, and I mean, I gave this film a 1.5 stars, and I gave it a 0.5 star because Tyrese Gibson has a really funny part where he's talking about that he's invincible, because he's literally being shot at by 15 dudes and none of them can kill him, and he's killing them all. And Vin Diesel catches 3 people with his car. It's just, everything about this is ridiculous. And then I gave 1 more star because I thought it was cool that Jason Statham shows up at the end and is kicking a punching bag with a dude inside of it.
Oh, I didn't see the end credit sequence. So that's it.
Yeah, Jason Statham's beating up.
Well, Han shows up. But...
Oh yeah, well Han shows up too, but. Whatever. I just like that Jason Statham was beating up a dude who was in a punching bag.
That seems intense. Jesus.
Yeah, I want to talk about how landing on the hood of a metal car is softer than just hitting the ground, too. Like, how is catching people falling out of the sky with a car any better than hitting the ground? Yeah.
And I think you actually brought up a good point, Brad, about how Vin Diesel wants to take control of the franchise, because it feels like everything with his character is about how tough he is and how cool he is. And I mean, even they bring back, the family aspect, where the one time Dom turned his back on family is probably the time his family needed him the most. And then he learned that his brother isn't so bad. And of course, John Cena at the end is going to team up with him. And it's just...
But the moment you saw him in the trailer, you knew that's what they were aiming at. He's too big a star to be just the villain, and they've already established that Charlize Theron is just going to be that for the next 2 movies. So, I mean, like the formula on these films is successful for multitudes of reasons. It's just that they are not for us. They are for the people who do want to go to the movies on a regular basis, but they aren't concerned with a good story. They really don't care. They're there to watch. They're there to go nuts, and that's what this movie is designed to do.
It doesn't have to be a good story. It just needs to be entertaining. I don't think this movie is entertaining at all.
No, I think I frankly found the 8th one more entertaining than this one by comparison, if we're gonna draw straws on it, because I think part of it is you have The Rock and Statham in it.
Agreed.
And
I went to a private screening, and we were having fun with how dumb it was, so it was entertaining that way.
Right. It's just like, I mean, like, again, like, as I said before, like, if you are wanting to go to fucking turn your brain off, this movie is definitely up your alley, and it does that job correctly. But,
I mean, I would tell people to go see Godzilla versus Kong instead.
Well, yeah, because that's also a better movie, and also it doesn't need 2.5 hours to tell its story. It tells it in 1 hour and 46 minutes, and it's a fucking blast. But like, I know that people love these movies. I'm not gonna like kick around people's fandom on it. I do question the amount of intent and money they pump into these kind of films at times, because I'm just like, there are now 10 of these right now, including the spinoff. A spinoff, by the way, that's 10 times more entertaining than most of the films in your series. And Universal, meanwhile, has another department that's pumping out better movies in a different genre at $10 to $15 million a pop. I don't understand how you can't take some time with these stories and try to up your own ante a little bit. But it's, again, they're genre movies that know exactly what they're designed to do. So, it could just be me like expecting too much. I don't know.
I think you're too forgiving.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, ultimately, if people want to have fun, they're going to have fun here, But
what was Jacob's plan anyway? Like, to kill everyone on Earth? Like,
to reset the world? ? Because Dom better than him? ? Something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just level the playing field for everyone. Yeah, and like. So he didn't succeed at that, but now he's all buddy with everybody. Okay. Or if he won, he would be like this world supervillain, I guess, with his British buddy.
Yeah, which, oh god, the Star Wars conversation in this movie is...
I leaned over to Adam, I said, this is a Kevin Smith movie now.
Yeah, like, what the flying fuck? Who stuck mall rats in the middle of this movie?
That was the dialogue that I suddenly envisioned the screenwriters sitting there going like, we're so bored with writing these movies. Let's just deviate into like a discussion about Star Wars.
Yeah, they literally just said like, you know what? I watched Clerks last night. Maybe we can do that.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yep. That movie exists.
I did like Helen Mirren's cameo in it. That was fun. That was a fun time.
Sure.
Yeah, she was there to be in it. That's what that was.
Yep.
She drives him to Jacob. Like, what?
Because if they're really that concerned about him when they had them all cornered, why don't they just shoot him, kill them all? Why did half of them have to leave and the other like 5 guys until Dom goes into the silo that's filling with water for some reason, and there's like 50 of them. But
did I mention he uses his own superhuman strength to rip down the entire catwalk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, was it 5 or 6 where he's made a whole like parking garage collapse?
I mean,
I think
like,
it's 6, maybe 7.
So okay, here's the question I have, because we clearly, as long as this podcast is still around, we're still going to be reviewing these movies in some form or fashion. They've already gone to space now. What can they possibly do next with this?
I actually think they should go back to the basics. I mean, I think they should strip all this stupid super spy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're not going to, obviously, because I mean, you didn't see the tag scene, but when Deckard answers the door and Han's there, he shows him like a freaking flash drive, and I don't know what the fuck is on this flash drive. I guess just another Fast and Furious MacGuffin. I don't know.
It might be related to what happened in Hobbs and Shaw. Maybe they'll try to intertwine that adventure into it, like an MCU style thing. But I would love for this to go back to street racing, because I got a lot of cool street racing scenes in this movie with the flashbacks, which were much more fun to watch than the spy shit. Like this movie.
Why is there always like chicks just randomly dancing in between cars in this world?
Because it's a secret music video, Ryan.
I guess.
No, what you do is you just give up and introduce ghosts. So Paul Walker just goes back into it.
No,
yes.
No,
that was
Rider. Oh God, no.
Yes.
I'm down with Ghost, but don't drag Paul Walker into this one,
dude. If they put Ghost Rider in Furious 10, I'd be all on board.
Tyrese wants to combine him with the Transformers, and you know what? It's a logical move.
No, I think Ghost Rider would be cooler. Have Nicolas Cage show up and be, I just got the splitting headache, and then he says, "I'll race you for your car," and Dom says, "You got it," and then all of a sudden he turns into the Ghost Rider. Oh, that'd be badass.
Sorry, I just remember the amount of destruction in Edinburgh is like an international incident level that I'm shocked that they can just go back to a backyard in LA and not be like huge international celebrities.
But it doesn't matter. They got that Corona around. They got
also,
that
why
family.
Why did they even go back to LA? They had like a cabin in the middle of nowhere that they abandoned with his son.
Because we've got to wait for Brian.
We've
got to wait for Brad. You don't get it. Family. You want me to repeat it 500 more times?
It seems like they're really driving home religious aspects too.
Yeah, there's a lot of shots of crosses in this movie. I'm like, this is not emphasized
when Vin Diesel
before.
says, "God is always in your heart."
I'm like, what?
Oh my God. The part where the 2 girls are in Japan and she just looks over and like, oh, there's a Mexican flag. That's obviously a clue to where we need to be. Like,
no, in some random part in Japan, in Tokyo. I mean, I heard Tokyo is a pretty small city, so.
Ryan, let's go back to that God is in your heart bit. When you try to do that kind of trick in a golden age Hollywood movie, it sort of works because you can run the gamut on emotions. We're way past this point. How in the world is this being shoved into the 9th movie in the Fast and Furious? It works when Cary Grant does it, or even Bob Hope in Sorrowful Jones. It doesn't work with Vin Diesel. I'm sorry. Like,
I don't know.
It's crazy, man. But
anywho,
who's the last action star they can get now at this point? They pretty much have everybody in their back pocket.
Dave Bautista.
Yeah, but it seems like he doesn't want to do anything other than artsy stuff, which is kind of cool, to be honest.
Yeah, but he said who's left, you know.
Well, yeah, that is technically true. Yeah, I don't know who else you get. Like maybe Terry Crews or something. I don't know.
When did Gal Gadot's character die? Did she die in this series, or she just died and we don't know?
I think she's died in the 6th one.
I don't remember. She's like, fuck this. I'm going to go make Wonder Woman, make some real movies. See ya.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's, I mean, you know, maybe Stallone should be Dom's grandfather or something. I don't know. Like, that'd be a good way to cap this all off. But.
I know, I kept on waiting for The Rook to be, that man's your father, but he ain't your daddy. Then that would have been really cool.
And they went through the trouble of explaining like Han's death was faked, and I still don't understand how it was faked. Like that's how inept it was. have an explanation.
But they do this all the fucking time. Like, we've seen this happen for several movies now because they reboot them rebooting everything in 5 essentially meant that they painted themselves into several corners, because 5 is what brings Han back, but Han died in 3. So I don't understand how like it doesn't matter. Like, the logic doesn't matter. You're just along for the ride, literally.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll never watch that movie again. Next week, I'm going to be in Tennessee. What are you guys going to watch?
Brad, what do we do next week?
Well, I think it's a blank spot on our planning chart, so I'm not particularly interested in seeing the Forever Purge, so we could roll back and maybe do Cruella, because I had a really sweet episode title for it.
Okay. I would, is it Dumella DeVille?
Cruel Bummer or Cruella Intentions.
Ooh, Cruella Intentions. I like that one. We'll get figured out. We always do here on Real Nerds Podcast. Now coming up on episode 500, you can listen to in a month.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Drafthouse in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.